Today on Positive Talk Daily, we're looking at the Motorola Razr 2024. And should you purchase this phone or upgrade to the 2025? This is my 1 week review of the Motorola Razr 2024. This Motorola Razr 2024 has a 3.6-inch secondary screen. And if we look closely, you do have two cameras. And you do have your flash. And you do have a 50 megapixel regular camera, and you do have a 13 megapixel ultra wide. And when we flip the phone open, you have a 6.9 inch, almost 7-inch screen, almost a phablet device here. And these foldable phones are very, very cool. But should you purchase one of these devices? You do get Type-C charging, a stereo speaker on the bottom, noise-canceling microphones. We move it to the top, two noise-canceling microphones. Move it to the side. You got your fingerprint scanner slash basically unlock button, power button, and you do have your volume up and down. Please subscribe to the Mr. Positive Live YouTube channel today. Click on that bell icon, get notified when I go live or post new videos. This is my 1 week review of the Motorola Razr 2024 from Lenovo. Now, this is about a year old now, over a year old. The 2025 model is out and replaced this phone. But there hasn't been that much changes. If you go check out my first video, I'll tell you about that. That they're pretty much the same device. It's basically a carbon copy of the other device. Now, you do get different colors in the 2025 model. You do get a better material, they state, and a better hinge. That's what they state. But I don't really see a difference. I've used both. I'm going to be doing a review on the 2025 model in December. I think this is the same exact phone as that one, and I even think it's the same hinge overall. Here's what you're getting in the package. You get a 3.6-inch, almost 4-inch device. I always round it if it's above 3.6 or 6.7-inch. I round it to 7 inches because not 7 inches. This would be a 4-inch, almost 4-inch. Secondary screen. So it's 3.6-inch secondary screen. Now, there was another model of this phone released alongside this one. This was your standard flagship model, and then they released in 2024 the Razr 2024 Plus model. That model had a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3S chip. This one here has the MediaTek Dimensity 7300X chip, which is still very good, and pretty much low-end flagship category. So it makes it higher than mid-tier and mid-range phones, and it brings it into the low category. Geekbench numbers right into the 1000s, and multitasking scores well into the 3000s. So whatever anybody tells you, this is almost flagship. They can tell you it's a mid-range, it's not a mid-range. This does have flagship level category going for it. It has 120 hertz refresh rate on the secondary screen. When you open it up, they're both OLED panels. You do have a 6.9-inch or 7-inch display. Now, if you go with the Plus model, it is around 7 inches. This is 6.9. Again, we round it. They're about the same size, okay? The Plus model, the hinge is the same size. The only difference with the Plus model is it takes up most of the top. You don't have this here. But compared to the 2023 model, this phone destroys the 2023 model thanks to the larger display. Now, as far as the chipset goes, the 2023 model was a flagship and it had the 8 Gen 1 chip versus this one using a MediaTek chipset. Now, I'm not really sure why Motorola decided to go with MediaTek. I'm not saying it's a bad chip at all. Most of the time, Snapdragon chipsets are much better and better optimized for battery performance than the MediaTek ones. This is still very fast and still very capable, and it's actually faster than the Motorola Edge 2025 and the Motorola Edge 2024. So you are getting slightly higher scores than Motorola's other flagship, the Motorola Edge 2024, which still had the Snapdragon 6 Gen 2 chipset. It's still very, very capable. I would have rather seen a Snapdragon chip, but this is still very compatible. I haven't seen any issues at all. It does have stereo speakers. That 6.9-inch screen slash 7, I call it 7-inch screen, is beautiful for viewing HDR10 content. It's got 3,000 nits of brightness, the main screen and that 120 hertz. Now, the Plus model brings it up to around 164 basically, frame rate. This is 120 hertz. I'll be 164 hertz. I could be a little off on that, but I know it's a little bit higher, or spec a little bit higher. But I think the battery life is actually going to be better on this one because you don't have that 164 hertz or 160 hertz panel. This one is giving you just a standard 120 hertz. So I think that's better. And you can actually turn that down if you want. It's got a 4,200 milliamp hour battery, and you can get pretty much 10 hours of usage if you're using just this here. Standby time maybe 21 days. I think that's what it said. And if you have the Plus model, you're getting a slightly 4,500 milliamp hour battery. Even though you're getting a better battery in that one, you are dealing with a higher refresh rate. And I think the brightness is the same, but you're dealing with a higher refresh rate on the front panel and the top and the internal panel as well. So you got to deal with that as well. And the processor is not going to be as efficient as this. That's not using a MediaTek chip. That's using the top tier Snapdragon 8 Gen 3S chip, which is not as good. It's a flagship chip. This is still considered low-end flagship, so you're still getting really decent numbers on here. You can do everything from Facebook. What I like about the phone is the secondary screen gives you basically, now with like the Z Fold and the Z Flip, we'll compare it to the Z Flip because that's pretty much what its competitor is. The Z Flip gives you a slightly larger display. It's all this, kind of like the Z Fold, similar to the Razr Plus model. You are getting a slightly larger screen on the Samsung, but you can do more on this display. You're actually getting 95% of what you can get in the Google Play Store will work on this internal screen, on this secondary screen. So let me give you an example. Okay, so if I go over to my apps, these are actual apps I can use on the main screen or use on this screen. So I use this because you can do a lot of stuff on here. You can even use games on here. There are games that are already on here. I have weather widgets. I have my dial, because you can dial right from this. You don't even have to make things to Android 15, and they might get Android 16. That's what Motorola is stating. They're thinking about doing 3 to 4 year updates now, which is nice to see coming from Motorola. Contacts, messages, you can text right from this. You don't even have to open the screen. It's amazing what you can do. You can't do that you can't even game on the Samsung unless you jailbreak it. The Samsung Z Fold or the Z Flip can't even game on the main screen. So on the secondary screen, I should say. So you get all kinds of games. This is actually really nice. Now, I wouldn't consider gaming on a 3.6 inch or 4-inch screen, almost 4-inch screen. So, but it's cool that you can do it. I mean, it's there. It's a great little phone to get people heads to turn. I think it's awesome. You can have your calendar. You have your weather widgets. You can use Gmail right from the main screen. As you can see, you can change the aspect ratio. If I hit full screen, it brings up your whole email and stuff like that. And it's 120 hertz, which is nice as well. You can make it a little bit smaller. Also, if you don't want the cameras in the way, you can do it horizontally and turn it the other way. So you can use this as kind of like a area to rest your fingers on. And I've been using it this way. You can go through it and still, it's just as nice, really. And now if you have the Plus model, that's all screen right there, which is nice. And the hinge is really nice on here as well. What you're getting on here is very, very nice. And I don't think upgrading to the 2025 model is really necessary. They do the same thing. They run the same software, the same Android 15. They may even get both. Both are supposed to get Android 16. So whatever people tell you, I think this is just as good. If not, wait until 2026 model because you'll get more out of it. Now, you can go to messages. Facebook works great on here. Now, when you're trying to use Facebook Messenger, you may have to turn it around because these cameras do get in the way. Like I said, here's Facebook. Here's Facebook. Now, depending on your internet connection, I mean, it's 120 hertz, 120 hertz. So if anybody tells you it's not, it is. The secondary screen is 120. If you have the Plus model, it's 160, maybe a little higher than that. I don't know why you would want 160 because it's going to kill your battery. It doesn't make sense to have 160 hertz on your main screen. I think this is just fine. There is talks of the 2026 model having a screen in the back, or maybe being a little bit thicker, larger version. So that might be good, or wider. You can do a lot on here. Like it's very interesting how it works. Using Facebook Messenger is just as good as using the regular standard Facebook. You get the entire Facebook Messenger. There are no like shortcuts or anything. This is the actual app. You're using it on the main screen, which is nice. Now, it does like you do have this bar at the top, but that's okay. This is the budget version of the Motorola Razr. It's not budget, but it's the lighter version of the 2023 model. They give you the slightly lower chipset though for some reason instead of the 8 Gen 1. They just repackaged it, whatever. Overall, I mean, you can do everything. Google Gemini works on the secondary screen. Games work on the screen. When you use the camera, you can use the main 50 megapixel camera and the 13 megapixel ultra wide as your screen. So it's kind of nice there. You can take your photo. You have your ways of using the phone. So you don't have to use the main screen to save on power. So you can turn it. The camera comes on. You have your Google, your Motorola, your little shake to open. If you go this way, it opens the flashlight. You can turn it off. See, so very capable. The battery life using this is the best way to do it. You open this up, you're going to kill your battery pretty quick. Now there are some options. Battery saver options, things like that. Overall, the phone is really, really good. The cameras are solid. I'm not going to show any samples. It's a 50 megapixel camera. You have to go into settings. It's going to be set to 12 megapixel. If you go into settings, you can change it to 50 megapixel for your standard camera. So you always have to go in and change the options. It does record 4K 30 frames per second. There are slow motion, night mode, stuff like that. The selfie camera is a 32 megapixel. It's not bad at all. Takes really good 4K video and stuff like that. Now, I wish it would have been 4K 60, but 4K 30 is fine. Most people recording aren't really going to notice it. And you're probably going to use the main screen here. There are different ways you can use it, like a camcorder. I'm not going to show you that because there's plenty of videos on YouTube for that. You can open it up, flip the display like this, and use it like a camcorder. It's pretty cool. You can do your YouTube videos just from the main screen. I haven't tested that. I'll maybe pretty soon. Overall, for the first week of using, calls sound really good. The overall quality of the speakers are awesome. Watch YouTube videos, YouTube music, whatever, Spotify. You can pretty much cool. What I think is cool is if you have the Motorola watch or anything like that, or a Pixel watch, it works just fine with this. This is a great little phone. Now, a lot of people are going to probably be interested in it once Apple starts making these foldable devices. Foldables obviously aren't the top seller right now in the market, but when it comes to, grabbing someone's attention and stuff, these phones are starting to pick up. Now, the design has been around since 2020, 2019. Motorola brought the Razr back in 2019. Those didn't obviously do so well because the screens broke. Now, your benefits, again, I did a video yesterday. Now, the reasons why you should buy this phone is if you're into something different. If you want a phone that really is going to be different from, say, the normal slab of an iPhone or a standard Android device, I think going with something like this will get heads to turn. If you just want something different, elderly people love these phones. And that's where a lot of people are buying. Business people that just don't, they pull it right out. They just want to look real quickly. Now, there are going to be some downfalls to this type of phone, too. The expense, because these phones are expensive, and this is the cheapest one you can get in 2025. This one retails still around $599. Now, $499, $599. You can find discounts if you go through Track Phone, Straight Talk. Sometimes you can get for $200 not Unlocked, but Lock 2 Straight Talk or Track Phone. And you can get it on companies like, right now there's a deal going on with Boost Mobile. You can get this for $399 through Cricket Wireless. So the phone is still widely expensive, though. If you don't look for those deals, the promotions, like with Metro by T-Mobile, you can get this for $65, but they already have the 2025 model, so they got to get rid of these. They're the same thing. Like the 2025 model does give you a slightly larger battery at 4,500 milliamp hour. This is a 4,200 milliamp hour. Same brightness, same screen, same dimensions. Resolution still 1080p, slightly higher than 1080p. Still an OLED display, same size screen. I would say wait until the 2026 model, which is supposed to have a slightly wider display and a larger footprint. and should have a closer to flagship level chipset. This is still considered a low to mid range chipset. It's a higher tier flagship, I should say, higher than mid tier though. That MediaTek Dimensity 7300X is still very capable for everyday gaming, good battery life, good Geekbench numbers. So if you're buying this phone, not worried about raw power, this is a great little phone. The 2025 model does have a slightly higher chip at the media. It's the MediaTek 7400 chipset with the same 128, 16 gigs of RAM if you use. So you get 8 gigs on board on this one and the 2025 model. And you can use another 8 gigs of virtual RAM, which will round to basically 16 gigs. Okay, so both phones have that same compatibility. You have the same apps on here. They pretty much run identical. You're only getting a slightly, maybe 5% better chip in performance. It's not enough to really go say, hey, I can go out and dish out another $700, $799, $600 for this same phone. It's the same form factor. It's almost the same material. And I believe the hinge is a shame because I've been messing around with the 2025. We got it last week, and I'll make the video and release it in 2 weeks. During COVID, I would release it during the Thanksgiving break, but it's the same hinge. They tell you it's a better hinge, make you go out and buy a new one. Now, there are some advantages. The only thing I don't care for, let me show you in the packaging. A lot of these companies that believe in eco-friendly, environmental, which is a go green scam, I think it is, and it has been seen in the Trump administration and stuff. I'm not getting apolitical. But a lot of these companies like Samsung, Apple, TCL have been ditching the charging brick, and I'm going to keep bringing this up. Now they expect everybody to have a charging brick at home. This is supposed to have at least 48 watts of charging, okay, or at least around there. And you don't even get the charger in the box. I mean, the brick. You're going to sell something that has fast charging. If it has 25 watts, 48 watts, 64 watts of fast charging, I don't care which phone it is, sell it in the box. People are paying close to $1,000 for these fucking phones. I mean business. People are paying close to $1,000 for this phone. Package a brick in the box. People aren't going to use a 15-watt charger from a Samsung Galaxy S5. They want a charger that is supposed to give you the wattage you need. Not everybody, and then the companies do this to force you to go out and spend more money because they're greedy. These companies are greedy, and I don't care what people say, put dislikes. These companies like Motorola, Samsung, Apple, taking advantage of consumers way too long. And more people need to do reviews on reasons why because of their eco-friendly garbage. It's trash. They're taking away stuff, so you have to go out and spend more money. If you're spending fucking $1,400 on an iPhone 17 Pro Max, give the people the damn charger. If you're spending $50, I did a video on the AT&T Motivate 5G2, and that comes with a charger, and it's 15 watts. It's not the fastest thing on the market, but they're at least giving you a damn charger. You're going out spending almost $1,000 on this phone and a newer one, and they're only giving you just the charging, just this, a wire and some paperwork. Come on now. Start putting the charger in the box. Sorry, I get a little angry. It's not angry, it's just being honest. People are going out, and these companies are they're wasteful. They go out, they make people buy this stuff for thousands of dollars, and they don't even give you a charger in the box. Oh, you're going to have to get an extra one. Not everybody wants to use a 5-watt charger to charge their phone. It takes 2 hours. Sell the charger in the box. I'm not mad at Motorola. I'm not mad at Apple or Samsung. It's corporate companies that are taking advantage of people. Put the chargers in the box. I don't give a shit about go green, scam, and climate change and trying to save the environment. The environment is fine. It's just these idiots in Congress that don't want to, not so much Congress, but people in the environment don't want to give you the plug in the box anymore. Start packing the box. Start packing the charger in the box. Plain and simple. And, most people would be happy. Now, if you do have a bunch of chargers lying around the house, then that's great, but not every consumer does. People get rid of their phones. Yes, they may have a 10 watt, 15 watt charger, but if they have a Samsung Galaxy S25, they're going to want the 48 watt charging. They're going to want what it's advertised. Same with Google. They're not packing a box in the day. It's like 34 watts, 35 watt charging, whatever. Just using an example. Sell the charger in the box. Overall, the Razr phone, I'm sorry to go on a rant, this phone gets a pass. It's no need to upgrade to the 2025 model. You're not getting anything different. You're just getting a slightly larger battery and a little bit better chipset. You're getting the MediaTek 7400 chipset versus the 7300X. It's only a 5% difference. There is no reason to upgrade just because of that. You're both getting 120 hertz refresh rate, same updates. You may get one extra year with the 2025 model, but it's the same phone. It's the same form factor. It's just another repackaged version. If anything, you want the better performance and you're looking into a phone like this, get the Plus model. It gives you a slightly larger 4-inch display versus a 3.6. I still round this to 4 inches, but again, it's still 3.6 inches at the end of the day. You'll get a 7-inch display versus a 6.9, which is really no difference, just a slight margin. Overall, it's a good phone. It works well. You're getting close to flagship level territory here. You don't really need to spend more, the Samsung ones and stuff like that, which are hundreds of dollars more than this. Get this one. For Mr. Positive Live, this does pass my 1 week review. Thanks for watching.